Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. We can be contacted. Email, podtendo@gmail.com. If you left comments on our YouTube videos, probably a good way of contacting. We're on other stuff, other socials. I don't really check those, so don't do that. We're a review, let's play, pop culture-y, retrospective show. So you're going to get a little bit of all of those. Nothing great of all of them, but we do four things instead of just one thing really well. And I'm your co-host, Mick, and I'm joined every episode by lovely and talented co-host
Tyson.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Fun game on the games on the docket today. We're doing a couple collections, I guess. It seems to be the theme of this year.
I guess, yeah. This summer we're because we just did Mega Man.
Yep.
And then we're doing this, which is 2 games, and I think next month you're getting 2 to 3 games. Cool. Collections. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Collections year.
Collections.
Much better than that stupid Final Fantasy VIII year.
Oh, it was the worst year ever. Oh, so boring.
Yeah. But we got some fun games. I mean, I love the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. We grew up on them. I think we had number 2, or did we have number 3?
Both. We had,
okay.
Yeah, so do we talk about first memories? Do we have a first memories? I believe so. So yeah, this one, I don't know if we didn't have a Xbox, or a PlayStation until a little bit later, and I don't know if we ever had Pro Skater on the PlayStation, but yeah, definitely Tony Hawk 2 on the N64 was something we owned. So like Tyson alluded to, we're playing Tony Hawk, guys, both of them. Pro Skater 1 and 2, we're doing the HD remix, at least, or the remake. That's how I played it. I didn't go back and play the original because they look rough.
Yeah, and these nice modern update with newer controls, and
yeah, it's just
a lot of, and the graphics are just so much nicer to look at. You're no longer looking at horrific block stuff.
Yeah, it's better. So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater is developed by Neversoft. It sold 3.5 million units as of 2001. So maybe more? Probably not less. Release date was September 29th, 1999. How long to beat has this game? At 6.5 hours in total, or 5 hours. I guess just regular playthrough. Price at release was $59.99. If you factored in inflation, that'd be $101.43 today. eBay price $35 for an N64 cart. eShop, I don't think it's available anywhere. And then our second game is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Sold over 2 million copies, so it was a little less popular, I guess. It was released a year later on September 19th, 2000. How long to beat has this game at 8 hours. And on eBay, you can get a copy of this game for $40 for the N64 card. So if you wanted a copy of both Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 on your N64, $75, eBay to your house, boom.
Yeah, good to go. Or you can just buy the updated classic.
It's like $20. Just do that. It's better.
It's much better.
Cool. So where to play? You can play this on we recommend probably the Tony Hawk Pro Skater collection on the current gen consoles. There was also an HD release of the first game a few years ago. I had that on my PlayStation. Or you could get an original disc for the PlayStation, an original cart for the N64. I believe it was also on the Game Boy Color, Dreamcast, the Game Boy Advanced, and iOS. It might be on the iOS. There's probably a copy of this on your phone you could play. So,
oh man, could you imagine how clean those controls are?
Oh yeah, and it's probably what's it called, gyroscopic balance controls, and you're like, whoa, I'm actually skateboarding.
Because this is clearly not a terrible gimmick.
Yep, no, we're definitely not selling that was a good $8 I spent.
I would rather spend the money and get the Game Boy Color one because that's the definitive edition.
Oh, if you're not playing on the Game Boy Color, what are you even? Do you even skate?
Yeah,
Do you even skate?
Do you even skate? Like, let's be serious.
Do you even skate? Come on. So what we do in this show is now that we've introduced it, but before we get back, we can't just talk about this game, guys. We actually have to physically transport ourselves through time in our patented Wayback Machine, which is a time travel machine, to September 29th, 1999. We asked the age-old question, do we want to live there? But we're not going to have any music, apparently, today. I was just like, no, I just can't. I can't do it. I can't look up songs. So we're going to... Tyson's favorite show is The Simpsons. He gets to watch Season 10, Episode 3, Bart the Mother. Bart kills a bird, which results in a bunch of gorillas freezing to death.
Yes. The best ending joke on The Simpsons. Like, winter will come and kill all the gorillas.
Yeah. We've definitely been here before because I've definitely made that joke before, and it was like a very funny reaction from you. One of my favorite parts of this, or one of my favorite things from our past episodes, is your reaction to that, just as you like process it. Good times. Other TV shows were Angel, Freaks and Geeks, Law and Order, SVU, Third Watch, Roswell, Sopranos, and The West Wing.
Okay, interesting selection.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Nothing that really stands out as something I would love to watch, but right. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm sure the cartoons kind of get there for you a little bit. So you get top cartoons released this year were Beast Machines, Transformers, Batman Beyond, Family Guy, Futurama, and Spider-Man Unlimited.
Excellent. This is some quality.
Yeah. Turn down your brain Beyond. To like 12 cartoons. Tony Hawk. It's a good time.
Yeah. You could watch Futurama while playing Tony Hawk.
Yep.
Let's face it, that's the dream.
That does sound pretty nice. Top movies. So this month we saw Stir of Echoes, Blue Streak, American Beauty, and Double Jeopardy.
Okay. So, couple, Blue Streak's pretty funny.
I'm sorry, that is not the answer we were looking for. And then top video games was Soul Calibur, Sonic Adventure, Jet Moto 3, Resident Evil 3. That's probably the Simpsons. Final Fantasy VI on the PS1, Crash Team Racing, and Age of Empires 2.
Nice. A decent collection. Sonic Adventure. So the Dreamcast must have just dropped.
I think so, yeah. And there was something in the notes when I was reading, I didn't include it, but they had terrible sales of this game on the Dreamcast, so they decided to never port to a Sega system again.
That seems fair, because you know what? I don't think that there's going to be many Sega systems after the Dreamcast.
Yeah, like that was probably one of those retrospectively things. We'll never sell to them again. Well, they don't exist.
It's like they literally went bankrupt. What do you... Neversoft's like, we're making smart money decisions.
Yeah, we're good businessmen. All right, so development details. Now that we know kind of what the pop cultural landscape looks like, you're like, oh, I remember that. I remember watching Batman Beyond being like, man, that's sweet. His new suit, he's so sleek looking.
Oh, the intro?
Oh, it's great.
Now, that cool dancing that's everywhere.
Yeah, I love that. I was always like, man, can't wait for me to grow up and me get to dance like that in a club when it's the future.
I can't wait till I grow up and feel things.
Me be so excited. Now that we know what that looks like, let's look at the development details and how did this game come to be. Neversoft took on this project after several failed games had pushed the company to the verge of closure. They based the gameplay on the arcade game Sega's Top Skater, except they wanted to remove the linear gameplay and create a world where players could explore. They took inspiration from the X games that were currently happening during development, but focused on fun over realism. In September of 1999, they met, maybe that's 1998, because didn't it come out in September of 1999?
Yeah, they like the 10 days before the game is shipping to like.
Hey Tony, so we made a game and we put your name on it, and like you're a character,
and all your board graphic is in it, and
can we pay
a bunch.
Okay, so
here's a check. Is this cool?
There's probably a good chance it wasn't maybe 1997. Actually, it might have been 1997. Yeah. That might have been it. They met with Tony Hawk, who was quickly impressed with the fun gameplay. Hawk turned down their initial offer, instead landing one a few months later that gave him royalties for every copy sold, earning him nearly 10 times what the original offer was. Tony stayed involved with the project, offering gameplay feedback and helping recruit other skaters into the game. Mario 64 inspired the level design, and each level started with a map, and the team of developers would gather around it and discuss how they would want players to interact with the world. There was a PS1 demo disc that included demos for Crash Team Racing and Final Fantasy VIII, as well as the aforementioned Tony Hawk. But it gained popularity due to the notoriety of this inclusion of Tony Hawk. Add the popularity of the demo with Tony Hawk landing a 900, which is 2.5 rotations on a board in a contest earlier this summer, and the hype for this game was real. There were some mini replica skateboards of whatever his Birdhouse, that were available with pre-orders, and the team began working on the sequel months before the release, as well as porting it to the N64. So there you go. Cool.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, kind of crazy how they just nailed this whole new genre of game.
Yes,
because it's kind of like a 3D adventure sports games where different checkpoint or different things are unlocked by being like doing specific things, not just being like climb to the top of the mountain or whatever. It's like no, kick flip over this or jump over this like certain gap. It's very cool, and I just like that.
If you ever, like, I was watching a retrospective on this last night before I went to bed, and I saw some footage of Sega's Top Skater. Very similar to this. You're in a half pipe, you go back and forth, you do tricks and collect coins and stuff to kind of keep up your score, keep up your time so you can keep playing. It's an arcade game, right? So they basically took that and like mixed it with Mario 64, which is like kind of neat.
Smart choice. If you're going to draw inspiration,
pick one of the best, better games ever made. Yeah.
The people that were like, this is 3D platforming, the template.
But yeah, no, very, very interesting kind of development. And yeah, like I said, they created a genre of game that nothing ever looked like this before. It was incredible, awesome, excellent gameplay. It's inspirational. And then you could have not mentioned the PS demo discs. Back in the day, they were all the rage. You'd get these games, demo discs that have like 5 games and you could play for like 20 minutes. And as a kid, that was incredible, right? Like I remember.
You would just end it and redo it.
I've never played Jersey Devil. I never wanted to play Jersey Devil. I had a demo disc with Jersey Devil on it. Man, I played the heck out of that game though. I love that one.
Yep. Well, doesn't Jersey Devil, like, it has a special part in your nostalgia.
Yeah.
Even though you've never played the game or owned the game or rented the game, you had a demo disc that had it on there.
Yep. And I think I actually, I was the weirdo. Like, I was the oddball, the booger eater, the mouth breather, you know, whatever name you want to call me, that definitely played this disc before. And had that disc and saw Tony Hawk, and I was like, no, whoa. Final Fantasy VIII, that's what it's about. Look, I'm storming a beach, and there's guys, and you'd, like, die because it was kind of tough. And I was like, wow, it's amazing. I love the graphics.
I remember playing that demo sort of as well, because I remember the Final Fantasy VIII demo, because I remember being like, look at these cool summons. I love summons.
I'm sure that would be the worst part of that. No, there's no Final Fantasy VIII talk from here on out. We're done.
Sorry. Let's get back on the Tony Hawk. Great game, and happy Tony Hawk got paid.
Yeah, it was great. Tony Hawk 2. On September 24th, 1999, Neversoft revealed or released a hiring notice for new programmers. And on October 4th, that very same year, the company was acquired by Activision. That's a shame. Activision began development in April of 2000. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is the first installment of the series to feature a level editor. I think you can also, what's it called, manual for the first time. Character creation, and manuals. I should have just believed the notes. The latter was intended to be included in the previous game, but was not implemented due to time constraints. Oh, cool.
Yep. Well, just another thing because building the gameplay where it's just like you just don't break, like, because you're having to use so many different moves or abilities and do different things, you figured that all these systems would break at some point, but it just doesn't. It just works.
No, not in the slightest.
And I remember the level editor, and one of the cool parts about that is you can get like those spike pits.
Yeah.
So we would just put spike pits everywhere, but it was kind of glitched. So if you were grinding and you pushed it yourself into the spike pit, you could just skate around in the spike pit. But if you tried to jump into it, you'd just die. So we'd play. Do you remember playing like that zombie game?
Yeah, tag or whatever. Yeah.
And then so everybody else would be like, be hiding in the spike pit. So you'd have to like, if you were it, you'd have to like make sure you grind file in there. It's like, it was really fun. I remember we had like little strategies behind the whole thing, and it was just like, it was cool. But it was just like this weird random glitch. We created a whole game around it.
That is so funny that like the number of games that I'd play tag in and then just hide. And that was it. It wasn't like I was so much chasing or whatever I was doing, or like I was literally just like, what's the best place to hide? Because I also feel like there was one of the semi-truck games, like Vigilante 8 or something. We were playing it at your friend's house that lived by the church. And I just recall there was a level, and I found this like on top of this ridge, there was like this weird like water pit. And it was, and I just like went into the water pit and like drove up halfway up the wall, and then kind of like just like idled and just like kept my momentum. So I just like clung to the wall. And the guy, he was like driving all over the place, and finally he found me, but he like couldn't like, you'd have to like kind of angle yourself at the bottom to try and hit me. Odd. Apparently I was a coward as a child, so.
No, but that was the fun thing to do as a kid, is you really break the abuse the systems. Pretty cool though. I forgot all about that, and that's another game we might want to tackle.
I don't know if it would hold up. Yeah, we could look at it. Anyways, maybe I'm not a coward. I just look for the optimal strategy, and I'm like, strategically, this is the best thing to do, so just do that. That's probably more what it is.
If you can glitch out, put yourself halfway up a mountain. That's what you do. That's what you do.
I mean, that's all I'm doing in like Tears of the Kingdom. That's how I climb mountains. I'm like, oh, look at this little ledge. They didn't know that if you like, you can stand here and like flick the controller up and down and like get all your stamina back. Idiots. Anyways, on to the controls of Tony Hawk, because that's what we're talking about. Tony Hawk and other games. You skate around the stages while picking up momentum from declines and slowing down because of inclines. Cool. The 4 buttons perform one action. So there's an ollie, there's kick tricks, there's hold tricks, or grinding. The D-pad moves your skaters around while they're on the ground, and you can input a direction plus an action button in the air to perform tricks. You are tasked at completing levels and completing 10 objectives in each world. 3 total scores. There's a secret tape. There's 2 collectibles, and usually 4 area-specific tricks. You can customize your characters, compete with friends, build your own parks. I think that's it. Did I leave anything else in terms of controls of this game?
No. I mean, like, we already mentioned that they added manuals, and the HD thing, everything's just added. Yeah. It's modern controls. It's all, like, very cool. I'm really... It's simple, but it gives you everything you need to really just have unlimited amounts of fun. It's I think a sports game that has kind of endless replayability as long as you're interested in the sport, because skateboarding is not like basketball. It's not like you need like teams to play. It's kind of like just a solo thing. So if you're kind of like, I want to try to grind up this wall and get to like, and then jump off it and do this thing, it's like, cool. That's the new goal.
That's pretty much so. Yeah, cool. Sweet.
It's fun.
All right. What are your first memories of Tony Hawk, the Tony Hawk brand, maybe specifically the first couple games?
I think number 2 was the one that I remember the most, and we might have like rented like number 1 from Blockbuster or whatever, and it was always just kind of like play it and mostly just the multiplayer and play. I don't even know if there's games of skate or whatever the heck in it, but I just remember like messing around. This was like a go-to on pizza parties. This and like a Mario Party game or like a Mario Golf were always just the rotation. So that was definitely my first memories, was this game, but also skating was super popular at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's almost like a whole well, it was a subculture. It was like a subculture in society, and it kind of rose to the mainstream along with, like, I think the influences of, like, the counterculture that MTV was providing, as well as this game.
Yeah. Well, I think, like,
It helped.
because if you look at, like, the 80s, and there's, like, lots of, like, glamour, and then the kind of, like, goes into, like, there becomes this goth subculture. And
Grunge, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, like, that's kind of, like, this blip in time, this, like, late 90s, early 2000s is, like, skateboarding is the new hotness. And that's, like, the
Pretty
trendy,
much, yeah.
fashionable thing to be into.
Well, it's anyways, I've got, we'll get into cultural significance later. We will talk about the impact that this game had, but I also have the subculture Wikipedia pulled up. Man, we're gonna have some fun laughing at what they call subcultures. Oh boy, I can't wait. First memories for myself. The first time I ever saw this game was at the 2000 Royal Rumble. My friend had actually invited me and Tyson over to watch it with him. He had rented it. We watched him kind of play a little bit, and then we threw on some WWE SmackDown, and we had to, watch The Rock do the People's Elbow before the big event. I know we had a copy of the second game on the N64 and played the heck out of that one. I'm not sure entirely where it came from, though. But I know we played the heck out of it, right? It was probably also on the Xbox. In Xbox, you could, like, load your own music, and that was, like, the big thing in the day. And you're like, what? You can listen to Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train while you're playing Tony Hawk? Get the fuck out of here. It was incredible. It was great. But it was kind of a combination of... There was obviously two routes in life. You could become a skater in a skid. And that day I chose to become a wrestling fan for most of my teenage years, which led to probably lots of more awkwardness than I needed to have in my life. But God damn it, do I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, and I think it gave you a love.
Was that one of the best nights of my life? I got introduced to Tony Hawk,
dramatics.
and I watched The Rock beat The Big Show to win the WWE Royal Rumble.
Could be. It's up there. It's definitely a defining moment of your childhood.
Not only that, but remember the 3D nachos that we had that night too? Like, they had the Doritos, and they were 3D Doritos that night.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Is it weird that I recall that?
No.
Okay.
No, because that is the stuff that's like that. Like, obviously, that night did mean a lot to you because you remember the food you eat. I just remember those existing. I remember eating them. I couldn't tell you a single time around when I did eat them.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I just remember these painful details of things. I'm sorry.
Wow, 3D or Doritos, bring them back.
Yeah,
we miss you.
Bring them back. Bring them back. All right, so now that you know what our first experience was, let's get into the story of this game and then look ahead. So you are a skater. Could be a pro skater, could just be you. And you have to skate around the world to unlock the final duel with the Demon King, Tony Hawk.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty good story.
Yeah, it's just mostly about, like, hey, just do your thing.
Yeah.
It's, like, very low pressure.
And you kind of, like, get some money. It's kind of like, yeah, I guess, like Tyson was saying, it is just a sports game. Like, what's the story of the sports? It's just sports. Okay. So,
yeah. Like, what's the story of Madden? I don't know. Whatever. Like,
John,
hey, I drafted this one guy.
The evil wizard John Madden has sucked all the current NFL players into the game. Can Lamar Jackson throw a touchdown and save his friends?
Or will Tom Brady and the awful Buccaneers thwart him again? I don't know.
I kind of want to play Madden now. Sounds like a sick story.
It's like sick. Can I create my own character and interject them so I'm like a 7'5" monster quarterback?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Cool. Awesome. So with that, we're going to talk about each level in the game. So that's what this next part is. So it's our level notes, our Let's Play section. Yeah, we're just going to go through them. I'll start with Tony Hawk 1, obviously. And like I said in Banjo, what we should do is intro screen. And then nothing happened. It was just, I don't know, there's like a skate video, and there's that song. Dun, 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 dun. And then you pick play. Good times.
Yeah. Presentation needs a little bit of work, but I kind of appreciate that even in some of the extra footage, there's like extras and there's like little skate videos and stuff tucked away in there, and you're like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Mods are nice touch, especially in the HD remake here. One thing I will say though is I don't understand new gaming. So I have this game. I put it in my PS4. My PS4 says, cool, we just got to download some stuff. You can play in 30 minutes. And I'm like, awesome, cool. 30 minutes later, load it up, and it's like not loading. It's just letting me play practice. So I like take it out. I have to delete it, reload it. So it's like an hour and a half later. And I like my motivation. I'm like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm just going to get it loaded.
Yeah.
I'll play another game. Switch. Nintendo Switch. I put my Tears of the Kingdom copy in my game and press play and the game just starts. What is happening? Like, how is Tony Hawk more like an hour and a half experience of getting it on my system versus just the plug and play of this giant massive world? I just don't understand current video game.
That's an architecture thing. Because the Switch and Nintendo has made a very conscious effort to make it like seamless to a point where, like, let's say you put your console in sleep and you just walk away and you come back like weeks later and be like, oh shoot, I was mid doing this thing in Stardew Valley, and it just picks you right back up. And like you said, there's not this whole like rigmarole. And I know that like, or at least when there even is an update, you quickly just drop back into it, and it's not like this huge painful ordeal of getting back into everything.
Oh, my PlayStation's like, oh, we have an update, and it's like, it'll take 12 minutes, and I'm like, what are you doing? But
I think it's an architecture thing, and the Nintendo has really tried to
just avoid that, I guess.
Yeah, well, like that's their whole shtick is like seamless, like go from docking to your TV or handheld to your TV in a second. Like that's incredible. Like,
sure. Okay, cool. Awesome. So anyway, on to the first level of Tony Hawk, Warehouse. So one of the best intro levels. It teaches you all about the game's levels, the design. It helps you kind of learn all the tricks, pun intended, that you'll need to do to complete this game. It's a pretty good area. So apparently I'm asking Tyson, what is the gnar part, which I think is good. And then we're also going to ask what the bummer part is, which I think is bad. So Tyson, what is the gnar part of Warehouse?
That big drop right off the start. Like that's the iconic part of this thing is that drop.
Big ramp you hit, and just bunch of speed and go.
Yeah, and you can, if you want, you could just like use that to get to that secret area above the half pipe where the heck it is. It's like yeah, that's sick. Okay. The part that kind of sucks is the gaps.
Yeah,
like there's a gap over the
ramp.
The ramp. Yeah. And it's like the one side of it, just like there's not a proper run up to it unless you come in from the right side.
Yes.
Because essentially on the left side, it's like there's nothing. So that part kind of sucks.
I really struggled with that until I upgraded my skater. So going and getting all the little points and putting them on your character, getting more vert. It actually does make a difference and helps you do that. But it's still, I conclude that is also the bummer part. Then the next area though is the school. So what is the gnar part of the school?
I like going up to the roof and breaking into the gymnasium.
Oh yeah.
Dropping in there. That's my favorite area to hang out. There's not a whole lot to do in there. It's just kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I found there eventually, and that was one of my bummer parts, was trying to get the collectibles in the gym. I don't really ever know which buildings to go into in this game, and sometimes you have to go, and like there'll be like half pipes around like a movie theater, which gets you a collectible, and I'm like, on the old ones, I get it, because all the buildings were just like picture, like there was literally nothing. But obviously the HD remake, everything, like all the glass, like all the buildings have little... have stuff going inside, and it's like glass buildings, and they've updated the graphics, so everything kind of looks like you should be able to go into it, but you can't. So
yeah. And it's also like some things are just called like kicker gap over the dumpster, and you're just like, this dumpster? No, not that dumpster. This dumpster? Not that one. It's like, ugh.
This game works really well with a strategy guide, and not one of the new guides that you find online. You don't go to IGN and say, what is the, and you have to watch some person who I understand went to writing school and now wants to be a game journalist and has to like write, 5,000 words for the review. Just pictures. All I wanted a picture of the map and just put little icons of like where I need to go so I can follow the little routes. That's all I want. Don't give me your 5,000 word essay that you have to get your degree for.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that you made bad life choices.
You're going to be replaced by ChatGPT any day.
Your job is obsolete. Like, you should have became a graphic designer and learned how to draw a map. I'm saying that's all I want.
Yeah, basically, and it's one of those things where it's like
I was just really shitty to a whole like industry of people there, and I feel nothing. Am I a sociopath?
No, it's video game journal. It's fine.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. So then the mall. What are the better levels? So lots of these levels are like free roaming areas. So I would describe the warehouse and the school as multi-layered, but they're really just like a circle, right? There's not much to do. You can go out and explore. Then we have like runway levels where you kind of start at the top and you work your way down, and at the bottom you go back to the top. It's kind of fun. The mall is one of those. So what is the NAR part of the mall?
I don't know. I think this is all pretty sick.
Yeah.
This is definitely this is one of my favorite levels. Like, I was looking forward to getting here.
Yes.
I guess the NAR part would be the big drops off the stairs onto like the sculpture in the middle, like over the water, what the heck it is.
Yeah.
That part's pretty sick.
So like the upper path that you have to take that gets you to one of the gaps you have to do. Yeah,
that part's pretty sick. I guess the NAR part is like there's like a little mini bowl over to the side, like not going that way. That's just kind of useless.
That's the bummer part.
Yeah, it's the bummer part.
Okay,
that
said
one
NAR
sucks.
Part. Come on, get your terminology right.
My bad. I'm an old man.
I was gonna say you're showing your age a lot. Bummer part for myself was I really hate when the objective is like trick specific and it says do a nose grab over this gap, and I'm like, cool, awesome. Because then I'm like trying all the combos and I'm like, I don't know what this is, and then I Google it and then I get to this ING article that says like, well, what you want to do is from the start you want to go down and make sure you go to the left path and jump up and grind around here and then make sure, and I'm like, no, just what is the button combo? And then
you're like, I just need to know if it's B and left,
or like
B and upright.
I could do B and down, B and left, and then I'm watching like a YouTube video, and I'm like, why didn't someone just say like down arrow B? Like, why was that not a thing I could find? So
yeah. No, that is a kind of a crappy part of this.
A good guide, a good solid guide that's not on my phone, a nice paper copy.
Oh, if you could just have all the moves just laid out in front of you, because it's like, wait, how did I do a dark slide? I want to do a dark slide. How do I do that? It's like,
do a Madonna down this pipe. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Melon grab over the kicker. It's like, terminology is hurting me right now.
Yeah.
But.
Cool. All right. So now we're a little bit into the game. We ask random question. I guess it's not that random. What is the hook of this game? So 3 levels in, played for about maybe 30, 40 minutes. Why are you still playing this?
You like skateboarding.
All right.
It's a skateboarding game. It's like the same reason why you're playing any sports game for the second, like into hour 2. It's like you enjoy sports games.
I think it's simpler than that. It's just the sheer amount of fun that you have in this game. You don't have to like skateboarding. It just feels fun to jump and ride around and go up your little jumps, and it's something you can't really do. I could go throw a football. Yep. I can hit a baseball. I probably can't fly in the air in a skateboard in a half pipe, right? Probably.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm never 360 flipping over.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's like that pushes the boundaries of what I can't do. Kind of gives me a new experience, but also it's just a lot of fun. Like the levels are unique, they're challenging. We're gonna complain about this and that, but like the whole time you're kind of like, it's all right. I don't mind doing this.
And I think the speed is really like appropriate. Like you're never like constantly, get speed here, so I can kind of build my momentum. You're like, you want speed? Go to your stats, increase your speed stat. Boom, you're faster.
Sweet. So back to the game. We're at Contest 1, which is in Chicago. And unless Tyson has something insightful to say, I think most of the contests, I just literally was like, no comment. The NAR part is they're just like kind of skate parks. The bummer is I don't know how you get the high scores without cheats.
Yeah, unless you're like a vert god, or you get some random grind trick 20 combo thing and you slap down like 100 and some points. I think the part that I like, this is not a bad map. I don't mind it. Kind of like gives you a little good feel for thing. But there's this lone like half, like just this one like quarter pipe just sitting by itself, and I could never hit that thing and land it. I will always like just pancake and die because it's like you can't go dead on straight unless you just came off a grind. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. That I hate that stupid quarter pipe. That was the thing that caused me nothing but grief.
Your pain. All right. But now we're on to the next level, which again is another, what did I call it? A course? A downhill course level? It is Downhill Jam. We're in a big, I think it's like a waterway, aqueduct, some variety.
You skipped over downtown.
Oh, I skipped over downtown. Oh, okay. Well, apparently we have another map to go through. So we're in downtown. You drive around. There's cars that kill you all the time. It's great. What's the gnar part of downtown?
I really like just the rooftops. That's both the gnar part and the bummer part. Mm-hmm. The gnar part's like getting up there and you're like, oh, look how cool this is. Like there's this whole like
there's
park
a semi-truck ramp that you have to like jump through some glass and you're like, what? And then you're in like a plus 15 walkway and you're like, what? And you're on the roof and you're like, what? And then the gap comes and you get halfway and you're like, I need to get more stats.
Yeah, and then you sit there and you try to farm as many stats as you can because you realize you're like, why can't I jump to the second roof?
Yeah.
Why is it so painful, but I need to do this to just progress?
Yeah. My bummer, I also like that as my gnar part. My bummer part, the collectible items here, and I realize on the original hardware, they want you to collect a no skating sign. So they have like a little no skating street sign. Cool. Anti-establishment. Go. And that's all. That's all that's in the environment. So it's kind of easy to spot. Well, the nice HD clean version. So my same complaints about the buildings. Like, I don't know which building I can go in. Because, like, there's lots of times I just ran into the glass. Of, like, I'm like, oh, I should be able to go into this cake shop. Nope. Just a wall. It's the same with...
Or you're like, do I need to wall grind it?
Yeah.
Like, wall ride it to break it? Like...
But everything looks so beautiful and they're so detailed. And, like, the bells at the school don't stand out because... the walls aren't just these blank pieces of crap. They look super textured and clean and actually like walls. So trying to collect some of the collectibles in this level that are street signs, I'm like, but there's like billboards everywhere. There are other street signs. Like they did too much and they probably should have had some type of indicator system, right? For this kind of gameplay, especially with the time limit. It just didn't pair up very well.
Yeah, or just even give things like a shine to them when you're like skating past.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this glows.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Again, map in my lap would be great. Downhill Jam. Yeah. We're in the aqueduct. Unlike that other time when I was lying to you about us being here. What is your gnar part of Downhill Jam?
I just like the whole like. There's it's a good thing. Like it just feels like you can get a good like run going, and you're constantly doing moves. Yeah, there's one part that's like trying to get to near the end of the run. You have to get to like the top of this area and then like either do these grinds and then make this ridiculous like jump all to just, I think it's like a E in the skate, the last letter to just get that freaking letter or something, or is impossible to get to.
Yeah.
Like you have to spend the entire run just trying to get to that, and it's so frustrating.
It's fair. Yeah, for myself, my gnar part, what was that? Speed. I don't know. I wrote nothing down. Off the top of my head, what was something I enjoyed about this level? It's not as good as Mall. I don't know. There's too much going on. There's like too many different paths. It doesn't seem like there's a super clean... it's a multiple runner, right? Like you have to play this level multiple times. Doing the whole thing in one go is very, very difficult just because of the way they kind of broke up the collectibles here. And then my bummer part is just the anxiety and frustration I have when I miss a grind or a gap, especially on this level, because then you kind of have to like reset, and you just reset and you reset, and it's tough. Like trying to get the hidden tape, which is up on top of a... First you have to grind up onto like a half pipe, and then you have to go across another grind and then make a big jump and then kind of grind around and then make sure you hit this jump. And like if you fall, it's midway, maybe two-thirds of the way through the game. Like it's almost faster just to restart from the top than trying to climb back up, right? So that's the downside of these singular kind of slope downhill levels, is when you miss something you're like, ugh. So I played that a lot. But that takes us to contest 2, Burnside, which I believe is in Portland. Burnside, Portland. Do you have any gnars or bummers?
I hate this is my least favorite course.
Yeah.
There's no good pool. There's no good like half pipe. There's no good like wall rides. There's no good spots to grind. I don't know what I'm supposed to like where my line should be. It's just here's things together, and it's like this is so frustrating. I just don't see like it. Yeah, I know it's based on a real park, but it's like this park sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like this park is like what I'm gonna skate transition that just like go up and down curves. Like how am I supposed to get a line or get some points going?
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
So.
But that takes. I have no comment. Onto the streets, which is our last kind of open little area. Narpart, the nose grab over that's like the hunger gap or something, grinder gap. There's kind of a couple of big half pipes. You can build a bunch of speed, and you have to jump over these stairs. It kind of seemed impossible, but I increased my stats at some point and came back, and it was like kind of satisfying to land. So I like that. And then bummer part was there was just a lot of objectives I couldn't find. Like I never found skate in this level. I have no idea where all the things were. It was kind of weirdly designed. I couldn't quite get the feel for it. Yeah, I didn't really love it. Also, we didn't mention it, but the cars that run into you all the time, like I got hit by street cars and cabs would hit me, and it was awesome. Yourself, any bummer parts for street?
I love the like there's like this little switchback stair thing going on.
Oh, it's like San Francisco, the San Francisco switchback on the hill.
Yeah, like that's my favorite part for sure. It's so like just like looks dope.
Your favorite part? What's that?
Or my nar part.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I just wasn't sure what word you were using.
Sorry, my lingo, my old head showing. And then like I guess the bummer part is just getting to the upper ramp that you need to clear over do the one achievement. Yeah, like it must be like the like nose grab over the hubba gap.
Yeah,
but it's like that massive guy. Yeah, that's like you have to carefully do this. Like basically, you have to go up this like half pipe, and try not to fall off this ledge you shouldn't be able to get up to, and then skate around it to a giant ramp. And it's like this is a pain in the butt to even get to. And if you do it wrong, it's like, well, there's a minute of this whole thing.
Yeah,
this 2 minute long timer.
That's pretty much all you can do, right? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. All right, but finally, though, we get to the final contest 3. We're in Roswell. What's the NAR part? You go into a room, you see an alien autopsy. Great.
Yeah. That's kind of
bummer part is
the NAR part.
It's a lane end level. So to unlock new levels, you have to complete so many objectives. So you might need to get like 8-ish per level, right? So that's a lot of high scores. That's a lot of combos. That's a lot of skates you need to find. That's a lot of gaps you have to do. That's a lot of hidden tapes. That I ended up just going back and finding a bunch of the hidden tapes because usually they're relatively easy to find, like obscure areas, but like not too tough. And then you get to Roswell and you've done all this thing, and you're like, it's just a contest. Like there's nothing else to do. That sucks.
Yeah, and as a park, it's kind of like. I don't really. It's not my favorite because it's not like there's not good grind rails.
Yeah.
And I mean I prefer like I like grinding. That's my favorite style of like skateboarding. And this is just like, do you like ramps to get onto platforms with ramps?
Yeah.
It's like this sucks.
Yeah. I
don't want to just like, and the first one didn't even have manuals. So what are you gonna do? Just do grab tricks and kick tricks on every like little. But then again, I came from the era where street skating, so grinding is much more prevalent, whereas at this point I don't know how popular that is. Like that might be still not the popular trend because there still might be more like people vert skating, which is why a lot of these maps are very like have lots of vert ramps, and then the second one there's a lot more street and rails and stairs and all sorts of stuff.
Nar. Cool. So random question. Beat or complete? I guess I played Tony Hawk HD Remake a few years ago on the PS3. It was released. It was like $5 or $10 or something. I bought it. I thought it was great. I thought for some reason it was Tony Hawk 2. So I've actually played through most of these levels previously within the last, I don't know, years or something like that. And just like this playthrough, just like my last through, I went through, grinded through these levels, unlocked Roswell, played it, put the game down, and never looked at it again. So I'm a solid beat. I have no desire to return to this game and complete these games 100%, knowing that there's nothing else. Just getting to these lame end contests, I don't know, it seems very anticlimactic, and it's just, I don't know.
Slap on the mods, call it a day.
Yeah.
Don't murder yourself trying to have perfect balance, because it's hard. I tried doing that, and I got to, I think, like Downhill Jam, and about where Downhill Jam is on the other one, where it's just like, I can't get the 6 score, I can't do this, can't do that. It's like, just slap on the mods and have a good day.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, awesome. So you're also just a beat.
Just a beat, yeah.
Cool, awesome. So that's our questions. We'll talk about Tony Hawk 2 afterward.
Maybe we'll go a little quicker this time.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I guess. We're trying to do 2 shows. Last one. Okay, all right. Tony Hawk 2. So we start off with the hangar. What's the gnar part of the hangar?
Helicopter.
Yeah. You grind a helicopter, it takes off, it blows through the roof. You're like, woo! What's the bummer part of the hangar?
It's not as cool as Warehouse.
Okay. See, I was
That's
thinking,
the
the Warehouse is so awesome, it's so iconic, and they kind of just copied it, and they tried to do it, and like it's technically better. You know, it just won't get the same recognition ever.
Yeah.
And it's
there's no reason to go back up the ramp. At least in the first Warehouse, there was a little half pipe there that you could use.
And a box that you had to find when you're searching all the collectibles. Yeah, okay, all right. But yeah, this one is just like, it's missing that little bit of something. And it's very similar to the first game. Let's just remember that. So hopefully the other levels don't remind us of the first game. So the second level is School 2. Oh, God. So what's their gnar part of School 2?
The gnar part is the big stair set.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. That one's, I love just like grinding that whole thing.
I enjoyed this one, just the flow of the collectibles, right? So once you kind of find the routine and the little route around the level, the hall passes and skate, you can get in the single session without much issue, right? They have very obvious routes. They're kind of fun. It's almost the way you want to go and explore the level is how it's laid out. I thought that was great. And then for myself, the bummer part, just like all the other things, getting hit by the golf carts, it's kind of jarring. Like, especially, it looks realistic. It just kills your momentum. And it looks so realistic. And like seeing a man get hit by a golf cart or a cart repeatedly, like as a runner, and I'm a jerk. So I see when I'm running and I see cars, I try and like run in front of them in crosswalks. Cause I'm like, hey, slow down, I'm running here. Cause I think it's like weird. It's a weird thing I do. I don't know. So then watching this man who looks very realistically gets hit by a car repeatedly is giving me like post-traumatic stress. So not a fan of this.
Yeah, especially that ragdoll physics where it's just like, that hurts your spine.
Oh, and I'm dead. Do you have any gnar parts for School 2?
Yeah, I guess just the... Yeah, no, actually, no, this one's solid. I like this one.
Okay, cool.
No bummers.
All right.
No bummers.
Competition is the next area. Marseille. Do you have anything to say?
I think that the gnar part is there's this like in the middle front section, there's these little half pipes. It was in the middle of those half pipes that I finally realized that I could start, like, that was the moment when I was first playing these games back in the day where I could like start chaining my stuff together. And I always remember that little spot, that being like, this was where I cut my teeth. This is where I learned to play the game.
Cool.
So that's my gnar part.
Cool. For myself, I also have one of those weird memories of this one where there's kind of a rail into a wall ride to get an insane combo. And as a kid, to actually win this competition, we'd have to get set up and do these kind of cool combos off the wall to get a high enough score. And I was like, neat, awesome. And then with cheats, you just grind all over the place. It doesn't matter. So on to the next level, though, which is New York City. Definitely not downtown, which I'm pretty sure...
Definitely not downtown.
I'm pretty sure downtown is actually in New York City, so they've now just got rid of the first part and just called it New York City. What's the gnar part of New York City?
I think, is it skateboarding over the transit rail?
Yep.
Yep, that's the gnar part.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. I did the 50-50 down the big grind. I thought that was neat. But yeah,
that's dope.
Bummer part, bit dark in the original, bit disorienting. You obviously need stat increases to get the final, whatever it's called, subway card, because there's that half pipe over the road and fucking cabs keep hitting you. I was like, oh my gosh, enough of this. anyways.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
go to make this jump, and you just can't do it unless you, I think, have to increase your stats. And I was like, I just so god damn it want to be in the
Yeah.
next level. I don't want to be in this level anymore. Give me the next level. So that was my bummer part.
That's fair. That's fair. It's not the greatest level. I just like kind of like even getting to the railway is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah. All right. Then we're on to Venice, California. Woo boy, what's your NAR part of Venice, California?
The NAR part is the big Venice wall that you can just ride on top of, like that whole getting to that top area, and just like those long ledges are just beautiful for grinds. That part I love.
Yeah, I said this is a classic level. When I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater, this is one of the first levels that pops in my head. I think it's maybe one of the most iconic outside of, say, Warehouse. Right? It stands up. It holds up. It is kind of where the skating subculture came from, sort of, kind of. It's a little trip through literally one of the hot centers, the epicenters of this kind of phenomenon, right? So super neat. Yeah, getting on the rooftops is awesome. All the ledges, it's great.
Graffiti.
Bummer part for me though is anytime you see a transfer goal, I'm like, gaps. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of the worst.
Yeah.
My bummer's sand.
Okay.
Because
slows you down.
Yeah, but also if you ever like have a skateboard in real life and you get sand in your bearings, you're gonna have a real bad time.
You turn pizza when you French fry. All right, so then we're on to Skate Park, which is another competition. It's very wooden. I have no comment.
Yeah, I guess the NAR part is there's a couple like little hidden areas where if you grind certain stuff, it actually opens up. That's pretty gnarly. That you can unlock all that stuff. Yeah,
cool.
Bummer is missing one of them, and having to watch a video to figure out what actually you're missing. So
cool. So I guess
sucks.
For myself, I'll pull the skin off here. I didn't play these last 3 levels. I got to Venice, California this morning, this afternoon, and then playing around with that. I needed to unlock a couple more, and I looked ahead and I said, okay, there's a contest, Philadelphia. I watched a quick video. It looked boring as balls. It looked like it wasn't interesting. And then there's another competition. And I'm like, why am I playing this game? I hate the competitions. And why would I want to play another boring map? So the final map of this talk through this game is Philadelphia. So the NAR part, it did seem like it was somewhat laid out, but like it looked very similar to the street in Tony Hawk 1. I didn't like that level. So I was like, why would I want to grind out a bunch of objectives to get to this part? So I didn't get that far. So do you have an actual NAR bummer part for Philadelphia, considering you played it?
NAR part is you gotta skate along some telephone wires, electrical wires.
Cool.
And that like brings down a fence, and then it gives you access to a whole like secondary part. The bummer part is trying to do a few of the what the hell was I trying to do? A few of the goals. Like, the awnings. I don't know what an awning is. I think I don't still know what an awning is.
It's like the fabric things that are over doors. Like campers have awnings, like that little like retractable thing with the. Yeah, it's like that's an awning.
Yeah. Okay. That one's still like
Cool.
When I have to look up what a freaking awning is, I'm in trouble.
You're in for a good time. So then finally, the final level of this game is competition. You're in a bull ring, and you skate. Good times.
Yeah. NAR part is there's a bull running around and the bottom of the ring.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. The bummer part is having to ride over a bunch of poo.
Great. Awesome. Sweet. So that's it. Yep. That's it. And then with the ending, you've unlocked all the levels. You beat all the challenges. You unlock the gaps. You are a pro skater. Current thoughts? Yeah. Any current thoughts?
Fun game if you like skateboarding, or even if you don't like skateboarding, just like a fun kind of casual game that like I think if me and you were hanging out together, we wanted to just like play a multiplayer game that was not super competitive and not like me and you aren't experts on, but we could mash some buttons. I think this would be a fun game to just pick up and play. It's like it's a fun sports game. Cool. But it's a sports game but skateboarding, and we don't get a lot of skateboarding sports games, so gotta appreciate the ones we do get.
Sweet. Cool. Myself, it's awesome. So much fun. Brings back tons of nostalgia. There's such variance in gameplay and controls that you don't really get bored, right? Like there's just so many little things to do. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's also kind of like play your own way. If you are a big vert skater and you're like, oh, I love half pipes and quarter pipes
Yeah.
and that's my jam, feel free. If you are like, I only like doing flip tricks or you like doing grabs, like feel free. That's the way you play it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like do your own thing.
Sweet.
So for me, it's like flip tricks and grinds, and I'm happy.
Sweet, cool. And then how about what would you change? So the updated graphics do make the car on skater violence really intense. I was hit by a taxi cab on one of the levels and kind of got pinned to the hood, and it dragged me down the road. Yeah. So I would like lower that. Like maybe when the car hits you, just stop. Like, you know, you just like kind of restart. You don't have to see the horrific man being hit by a car repeatedly. Do you have any changes?
Kind of like, I guess my one change would be like lower the requirement for some of the gaps. Like just make it so the angle of the launch point just a little bit more forgiving. So I'm not having to max out speed, jump, air time, and hang time, all just to barely get over the actual gap. Okay. It's like this is the requirement for this is too tight, and then you have to get to the second roof, and then you have to hit an actual specific grind, and you're like, this is asking too much.
Cool.
Ask less.
All right. And then finally, an Are You Buying It? Which is our fan theory section. So the digital effects of your character. So sometimes when you drop it, like kind of glitches and you get up from a bale, helps old boomers like myself deal with the realistic car-on-person violence in this game.
I believe it, because let's face it, as you get older, you're like,
yeah.
I'm glad I'm playing a video game, because if I did any of this in real life, I would be in so much pain, I would never want to move again.
No buenos had. But that is it. That is our show on Tony Hawk, guys. We've got a cultural significance. We're going to look at. Tyson's got a fun little game to play. And that's it. It's good times. Good times. So, ready for our final section. Do you have any final thoughts, things you need to say that your soul will miss if you don't talk about and gush about Tony Hawk before we're done?
I think I got to say Baker.
Okay.
That's about all I gotta say for my skateboard references.
Cool. So, cultural significance. So in this section, we look at the game design, the lore inspirations, turning points, interesting stories. We talk about how this game relates, give other examples, and try and tie it all back together in the end. This game was very instrumental in the rise and fame of skate culture in our society. Skate culture can be traced back to the 1940s through 60s, when surfers in California wanted to do something when the waves were flat. Gained a lot of mainstream attention in the 1990s. Some of it due to the counterculture that MTV was providing, but a lot of it was from this game. And this game literally helped popularize a super narrow subculture and brought it into the mainstream. Man, and if that is not culturally significant, what is? So Tyson, you've got a fun game to play, but before we do that, let's look at some other subcultures by going to the subculture, and I just want to read some to you. So some of my ones that stood up, like, honestly, I'll be honest with you, lots of them are sex things, like,
oh, got you.
You know, BDSM, I guess that counts as a subculture. Bodybuilding, bronies, right? Bronies, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We want to segregate those things.
Yeah. Cosplayers or Christians, if you like your C's.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Earthbound fandom.
Oh, like Earthbound?
Like the game is apparently a subculture where you dress up as Ness with a baseball bat. Okay.
I would just classify that as cosplay, but what do I know?
Yeah,
I'm not a sociologist.
No, you don't know those things. Fandom, that's a subculture. Yeah. Furries is also one. See, lots of sex stuff, lots of stuff. We got goths, grunge.
Got you.
Geeks,
nice.
Yeah. Hackers.
Okay.
Hulkamaniacs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a classic.
That's a good one. And hobo, the subculture of hobos.
Oh, of course.
Right.
You know, the culture that is, I'm a hobo, not a homeless person. I'm a hobo with a bindle on a stick.
I love my bindles. And the J's, there's some good ones here. There's jocks, there's Jedis, and juggalos.
Nice. Well, I'm waiting for the juggalos to form their own religion like Jedis.
There you go. K's, we have K-pops, obviously, and that's a good one there. Nerds, nudists. Nudists as a subculture.
Yep, okay,
right.
Of course.
Pokemon.
Yep, I could see that.
Okay, how about redneck?
You know what? That's absolutely a subculture.
Role-playing gamers.
So, like Final Fantasy fans?
I'm thinking tabletop.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that whole like Critical Role stuff.
Yeah, and then Rude Boys, it's its own. Skaters, obviously,
okay.
which is above Skinhead.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, we're above them.
And it's just slightly above or not. I thought it was Soldier Boy. It was Soul Boy. It's above Stargate fandom.
Okay.
Yeah. Teeny Boppers. And yeah, that's kind of it. So, but some of those, I mean, obviously the best ones, Pokemon, Lolitas is another one. What is going on?
Now, is that the culture where people dress up like they're from the 1400s, or is that like the book Lolita?
I think it's probably the second one.
This is
Yeah.
That's some problems. I guess we can't say all culture is good.
I'm glad video games didn't bring all those things into the mainstream. Hulkamaniac. I'm still waiting for a comeback. So every day I say my prayers, take my vitamins, hope for good things. Cool. So Tyson, I've got a game laid out here. We are going to play a game about Tony Hawk clones. You get to play over under Tony Hawk clones. You have to pick 5 of the 10 that I've listed. So there's 10 games listed, and there is a score according to IGN. So I want you to pick out your 5 favorite Tony Hawk clones. We can read the whole list before we go, and you have to guess over under the score that I have provided you.
Okay.
And you're trying to do, I don't know, like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
All right.
I'm going to do...
Over under 7.0 out of 10.
I'm going to say it's a Disney game, so it gives it that little bit of sheen to it. So I'm going to say I'm going to take the over.
Oh, ding, 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 ding. It's 7.5. That was a good guess.
Yeah. Ness, yes. Okay, let's go to the bottom of the list. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Another great Tony Hawk clone.
Yep. There's actually a part in Substance, which is like the DLC kind of add-on for MSG, where Snake skates around on top of the big shell. So
it's dope.
It is pretty sweet. Okay, so over under 9.7.
So I'm gonna take. Dang, did IGN get a 9.6? I don't think IGN would do that. I think that they would give it a 9.8. So I'm going to take the over.
Ooh, 9.1.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can see, they got rid of Solid Snake. Okay, now let's go with Simpsons skateboarding here.
Okay. Over under set at 2.3.
I'm going to take... Did they give this a 2? Is it that busted? No, I'm taking the over. I'm going to say they gave it at least a 3 or something. It's got to take it being over.
Ding, ding, ding at 2.5. You were right.
Barely. Jesus. Okay, 2 more here.
So I would like the psychology of Metal Gear Solid 2 at 9.7. I said it's so high. There's only 3 points you can go that are higher than that. The courage and the cojones of you doing the over on that, just statistically, under is the best thing to do when it's that high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
cool.
100%. Right. But I was like, nah.
No, I like it.
I can manipulate this. I understand how the world works.
So Tyson, you have 2 more guesses of the games that are left on the board. You got 2 right answers, 3 to win, 4 to get you some cash money. Can you do it?
Let's take Aggressive Inline because I like the title.
All right.
I know nothing about it.
All right. And at a 9.0. How do you think
I got it. I'm taking the under. There's no way Aggressive Inline is a 9.0 game.
Well, not only that, but it has to actually, because Metal Gear Solid is a 9.1. So if it's over, Aggressive Inline is a better game than Metal Gear Solid 2. You're right. Ding, ding, ding. It is under at 8.9.
Wow, just under.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Apparently, Aggressive Inline, great game.
If you never played it, go find it, because apparently it's kicks ass. All right.
Okay. And then let's take Razor Freestyle Scooter.
All right. At over under set at 4.8. And that is 1 or 5. Okay. I got the 5.
Will Razor, the scooter manufacturer, make a good game? I'm taking the under. It's I got to do it. I'm taking the under of 4.8.
Ooh. And at 4.0, ding, 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 you're right. Look at that. Big under. Excellent work. Good job. Well done. Well played. Oh.
4 out of 5, I think.
Yeah, cash money. So other examples out here were Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, which was rated an 8.1, which I wrote down at 8.1. That seems like I maybe made a mistake. Dave Mira's Pro BMX, not BMW, over under 8.5. It was an 8.6. Grind Session was a 7.6. And then the other one, Evolution Skateboarding, which was a 4.0. So,
yeah. And there's also Kelly Slater's Pro Surfing.
Apparently it got an 8.9. And I put it at 9.5 because I thought maybe you were supposed to do them all, but I figured in interest of time, you picked like 5. That'd be more interesting. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Sweet. So with that, I think we don't.
Nice. That's a fun game.
This Wayback Machine here is kind of boring. Nothing really noteworthy. Static Shock was mentioned, but other than that, I figured.
Yeah. X-Men Evolution mentioned. Weekenders mentioned.
And that's it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the video game, which I remember was like one of
Parasite.
It's only
Parasite Eve 2.
Only notable because what were that video game guys that you liked?
Oh, review.
Attack of the Show?
Luke,
or
yeah.
No.
It was Reviews on the Run.
Reviews on the Run. Yeah.
Electronics EP Daily, or was the Electronic Playground?
One of their first episodes ever, they did like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game, and it was just like abysmal. So that's the only reason it stuck out in my mind. I was like, as noteworthy there. So
I just remember that's when my respect for Tommy Tallarico started, and then he did this whole shenanigans recently, and I was like, who would have figured Victor? At least I got Victor Lucas still killing it, still doing the same old thing,
Sweet,
so.
Cool. So with that ends our Tony Hawk Pro Skater show. So good time.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, I love skateboarding. I love Tony Hawk. This was a fun thing. I hope you had a lot of fun. So
yeah. Outside of running out of a little bit of time and not wanting to grind through to play like Philadelphia, I had a phenomenal experience. Does suck a little bit playing these games back to back because 2 does seem like very much a one clone, pretty much.
Basically.
So that's like the biggest complaint I have. Other than that, good times.
It really is that, like, it really is a sports game. Like, it's just like, hey, here's some new maps.
Yeah.
Maybe some new skaters and some new decks. Cool, there you go.
Sweet. Cool. So with that, are we done? Say goodbye and see you guys in a couple weeks. I think we're doing X-Men again.
Yep. Look forward to it. Should be maybe this next one's not so great. So we'll see.
Sweet. Cool. Okay. Bye.
Bye.